Coming to you live from Mangkasapuri, Kuala Lumpur, you're watching Updates at Noon with me, Azlani. Making the headlines for today, booster dose administration based on current COVID-19 development. And 80-year-old Mattarella re-elected as Italian president. The Health Ministry MOH has clarified that administration of COVID-19 booster vaccine is based on current developments in relation to the effectiveness of vaccines and challenges arising from the emergence of new variants of the virus. It said the National COVID-19 Immunization Program for the first and second doses is still actively implemented in September 2021, with the rate of fully vaccinated adults then being at 79.6% and still short of the 90% target. According to MOH, interstate travel was then not allowed and travel into and out of the country was tightly controlled, apart from the fact that the comprehensive administering of the booster dose had yet to begin in September 2021. The administration of booster doses was implemented in stages, with priority then given to vulnerable groups comprising senior citizens, people with comorbidities, and those exposed to risk of infection. Only after the majority of these groups had received the booster jab was the booster vaccination open to the eligible general population. The clarification was made following a viral video on Health Minister Khairy Jamaluddin talking about the third dose at a press conference after inspecting the COVID-19 screening services at KLIA on 20th September 2021. Khairy had said that the booster dose at that time needed to be given to those aged 60 and above and people with comorbidities or immunocompromised, while healthy individuals were not encouraged to take the jab. Sabah's decision to temporarily close schools detected to have triggered COVID-19 clusters aimed at preventing more students and teachers from getting infected. State Local Government and Housing Minister Datuk Masidi Manjun said such a move would keep the COVID-19 infection localized and prevent it from spreading to other areas. He said this drastic action is also a reminder to all school managements to take proactive measures to reduce the risk of infection to students and teachers, adding that all SOPs at the place of work or school must be enforced tightly. On Friday, the Sabah government directed all schools involved in COVID-19 clusters to be closed immediately for between 2 and 3 weeks, subject to confirmation of the State Health Department to curb the spread of the pandemic. However, learning sessions for all students who would be sitting for major examinations could be continued with strict compliance to the SOP among students, teachers and staff. Sabah has recorded 10 clusters involving educational institutions since last week. Datuk Masidi said 267 new COVID-19 cases were recorded yesterday, bringing the cumulative figure for infections to 247,379. The Employment Act 1955 or Act 265, which provides that private sector employees be given 11 days of paid public holiday a year, does not apply to civil servants and other classes of employees who are not included in the first schedule of Act 265. The Human Resources Ministry in a statement stated that the employees included under Act 265 are those who earn 2,000 ringgit and below. Act 265 states that of the total 11 days, 5 days shall include the Federal Territory Day by employers whose place of employment is located in the Federal Territories of Kuala Lumpur, Putrajaya and Labuan. The 6 remaining days are up to the employers to choose from the list of public holidays as per the first schedule of Section 3 of the Holidays Act 1951 or Act 369. According to the first schedule, Chinese New Year is a two-day public holiday for other states except Kelantan and Terengganu. This year's Chinese New Year celebrations fall on 1st and 2nd February, which overlap with the Federal Territory Day on 1st February. Section 60D of Act 265 also states that if the public holidays fall on the same day, the following day is a paid public holiday. Therefore, private sector employees in the Federal Territories of Kuala Lumpur, Putrajaya and Labuan who choose and list Chinese New Year as one of their company's public holidays must provide leave on 3rd February. For employers who do not list Chinese New Year as a public holiday, they only need to provide a paid public holiday for Federal Territory Day only. The Road Transport Department JPJ has frozen a leave for its 2,500 enforcement personnel nationwide due to assignments during the special enforcement period in conjunction with the Chinese New Year CNY starting from last Tuesday until 8 February. JPJ Deputy Director General for Planning and Operations, Adi Fadli Ramli, said it was to ensure full focus for a smooth safety operation for road users. According to Adi Fadli, traffic flow is expected to increase by more than 100% as the public is allowed to return to hometowns this year, thus increasing vehicle movement on roads and highways.
Itu sebab kita dah arahkan semua anggota penguatkuasaan kita untuk tidak mengambil cuti. Kita dah bekukan cuti untuk mereka dan penugasan ini melibatkan ke seluruh negara. Semua anggota-anggota penguatkuasa JPJ digerakkan ke seluruh negara untuk memastikan bahawa perjalanan orang ramai ini selamatlah. Jadi memang kita dah gerakkan sepanjang tempoh kempen keselamatan jalan raya ini sehingga 8 Februari.
He said this to reporters after launching the Negeri Sembilan level of the 2022 CNY OP, which was also extended by State JPJ Director Hanif Yusabra Yusof in Kuala Pilah, Negeri Sembilan. In the meantime, he said JPJ also implemented the Goods Vehicles Driving Prohibition Order, which will take effect 2 days before and 2 days after the Chinese New Year celebration. Adi Fadli said the ban was to lower the risk of road accidents due to higher traffic flow of heavy vehicles and light vehicles, as well as avoiding traffic congestion during the festive period. The special meeting of the Central Disaster Management Committee to address flood issues comprehensively will convene next week with the involvement of several ministries and state governments. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob said the meeting would touch on several aspects, including long-term planning on flood mitigation, as well as reducing the impact of the disaster. He said cooperation from all quarters and various agencies was needed to address flood problems in the future to prevent the government from spending a lot almost every year to repair the damage caused by the disaster. He said the government wants to resolve it comprehensively and don't want the issue to happen again in the future, as it would have caused the government to spend a lot every year. The Premier also noted that over 6 billion ringgit had to be spent this year, which he said could have been used for flood mitigation projects, which may be able to resolve the issue. Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri was speaking to reporters after presenting the North-East Monsoon Basic Necessities Aid 2021-22, totaling 2,500 ringgit each to 1,157 household heads from Berita district affected by the recent floods. He also said that the aid was actively being distributed in other areas and it would be expedited to ease the burden of flood victims. Only 4,227 applications for automotive aid with an estimated claim value of 5.47 million ringgit have been received from flood victims nationwide through the official portal since it was launched on January 18th. Deputy Finance Minister Dato' Muhammad Shah Abdullah said the figure was still low despite not taking into account those who applied manually and hoped flood victims would submit their applications before the closing date on 31st March. Dato' Muhammad Shah said Bank Negara would discuss with insurance and takaful companies to increase consumer awareness on insurance coverage for flood disaster. He said this also involves planning for the industries involved to provide comprehensive coverage at a more affordable price. He said this to reporters after attending a Bank Simpanan Nasional BSN Micro Community and Banking Facilities Program in Sungai Lembing, Pahang, which allows residents to enjoy ATM facilities. The Paya Besar MP said the ATM would benefit around 4,000 Sungai Lembing residents who previously had to travel nearly 50 kilometers to withdraw money in Kuantan. He said it would also benefit tourists visiting Sungai Lembing, which was once known as the El Dorado of the East for its history in tin mining. The Ministry of Entrepreneur and Cooperative Development, MEDAC, has identified more than 13,600 MEDAC entrepreneurs who were affected by the flood last December. Minister Tan Sri Noh Omar said entrepreneurs are among those who will receive assistance in form of aids and business grants as agreed in the previous cabinet meeting. He said MEDAC is in the midst of gathering information on entrepreneurs who were involved in the floods, which the ministry hope will be completed next month, adding the type of assistance is expected to be announced in March.
Pun diputuskan dalam kabinet yang mana Yang Berhormat Perdana Menteri Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri telah pun bersetuju dalam kabinet untuk memberikan bantuan berbentuk grant kepada usahawan yang terjejas kerana banjir. Dalam nak memberikan bantuan ini ada banyak kategori. Ada yang informal, ada yang mikro, ada yang kecil, sederhana dan sebagainya.
Tan Sri Noh was met after officiating the Keluarga Malaysia Entrepreneur and Cooperatives Program 2022 in Sungai Besar. He said the ministry has been engaging with hawker associations, small and medium enterprises and chambers of commerce to identify MEDAC entrepreneurs affected by the floods. The ministry will also liaise with the local authorities to get information on premises and shops affected by the disaster. The Communications and Multimedia Ministry, KKMM, will organize the Bicara Keluarga Malaysia tour nationwide to strengthen engagement between the government, leaders and the people. Its Minister Tan Sri Anwar Musa said the tour was in addition to the Bicara narrative and inclusive programs produced by RTM as part of efforts to strengthen the role of the ministry's responsibility in disseminating certain government information or messages decided by the Cabinet in a more transparent and open manner.
Siri jelajah bicara keluarga Malaysia itu khusus untuk saya sendiri dan juga kementerian meningkatkan peranan kementerian kita dalam membuat engagement dengan rakyat dan masyarakat dan menerima soalan-soalan, pandangan, teguran selain daripada mengambil peluang untuk menyampaikan mesej-mesej tertentu yang ada dalam kerajaan yang diputuskan oleh Jemaah Menteri untuk dikongsikan dengan rakyat. Ketelusan ini dan keterbukaan ini pada saya satu perkara yang sangat perlu dan pada masa yang sama ini adalah satu engagement positif yang saya harap kementerian dapat teruskan secara berterusan. Ya.
Speaking after the Bicara Keluarga Malaysia session at the RTM Melaka, last night the minister said the tour, which is a positive engagement, will also be implemented on a large scale at bigger locations apart from the RTM studios in each state by adhering to the SOP. A total of 92 workers of the Malaysia-China Kuantan Industrial Park (MCKIP) in Gebeng suffered from food poisoning after having their meal at a canteen. Following that, the State Health Department ordered the canteen to be closed for 14 days. According to Pahang Health Director Dr. Noor Azimi Yunus, out of the 92 workers, 85 required further treatment, while 7 others only suffered minor symptoms of food poisoning. Of the 85, 68 individuals are currently being treated at Tengku Ampuan Afzan Hospital in Kuantan, 13 in Kuantan Medical Centre and 4 in KBJ Specialist Hospital. He said 72 workers were treated as outpatients while 13 had to be admitted to the hospitals. However, Dr. Noor Azmi said all of them are currently stable, adding that most of the workers suffered stomach cramp, nausea, vomiting and diarrhea. The cause of food poisoning is still being investigated, and a 1,000 ringgit notice was issued under Article 34, subsection 1 of the Food Hygiene Regulations 2009 to the canteen operator for failing to maintain a good condition of the premise. That marks the end of updates at noon. Our headlines for today: booster shot implementation driven by current COVID-19 situation. For more latest news, don't forget to tune in at 10, coming up at 10 p.m. on saluran Berita RTM. And to those who are returning to hometown during this festive season, we urge you to conduct self-assessment, plan your trip ahead and stay safe. I'm Azlani Adani. Thank you for watching. Goodbye for now.